Hello, my beautiful inner lovers. Thank you so much for tuning in to Awakening with Katina Love. Our special guest today is Goddess Iya Mint, womb wellness advocate and practitioner, who's here to help women with self-love and how to take better care of your sacred space. Welcome, Iya. How are you?
Hello, thank you so much. I am great. How are you?
I am wonderful, wonderful. So excited
And me too.
to talk about the sacred room, the temple of the Yoni. It's so important, right?
Yes,
For we as women to know how to take care of ourselves and to embrace that self love. So important, so important.
exactly.
So, let's start out by asking you, how did you discover your calling to teach about the temple of the Yoni and wellness for women?
Well, I discovered the calling to teach about the Temple of the Yoni, to be a womb wellness advocate and work in the birthing community because I was experiencing unalignments within my own womb and vaginal space for quite some time. And it was something that I was determined to heal naturally because I
Mm-hmm,
had already initiated my own spiritual journey prior to realizing that the womb is a space that needs attention and care,
mm-hmm,
especially during times when you're experiencing unalignments, but even when you are not. I feel it's actually most important to tend to and care for the womb when you aren't experiencing any unalignments because it's preventative care. It's
yes.
it's taking the time out to say I care about my womb and vaginal space enough to take action before action is actually needed. So I was trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do with my life because I had been recently released from the military and I didn't really have a direction. But
Mm-hmm,
as I said, I was already on a spiritual journey and I was really trying to find what it is that I wanted to do. And I realized over the short span of my life so far, the thing that I most naturally do is teach and be a nurturer and a guide, sort of like a mother.
mm-hmm,
I've been a mother figure for so many people. It's just a title that I take on that makes sense to me, feels right to me in the
mm-hmm.
way that I offer guidance and protection and love for the people who are dear to me, and even people who I don't really know well. So, yeah, that's what really drew me into working in the womb wellness community, knowing that I needed to find healing for myself, and in finding that healing for myself, teaching others who were experiencing things worse than I was, a little bit more mild than I was, or right there
Mm-hmm.
where I was. Really trying to help the feminine community to raise their consciousness and understand that the physical and emotional health of the womb space is vital to how you achieve the things that you want to desire in life, physically, emotionally, mentally. And so yes, that's what really pushed me into becoming a womb wellness advocate and practitioner.
Absolutely, because it's so important, as you were saying, because this is the space that we give life, right?
Right.
This is where
All
we
kinds of
birth,
life.
right? And it could be a baby, it could be anything else,
A
right?
job
A job
opportunity,
opportunity.
relationships, self-love,
We
change
create,
within self.
yeah, we create in that space. So it
Right.
makes sense to be in tune with that space and to care for it properly and
Right.
to be able to connect and communicate with it.
This is true. This is true. We have different spaces of creation, the mind, the heart, and the womb space. But the womb space, I feel, is the place that we actually utilize to bring those things forward. First it starts with the mind, then it pairs with the heart, then it comes down to our womb so that we can bring it forth, so that we can basically cultivate it, have it in an incubator, and grow it, and then eventually birth it into our reality. So it's so important to ensure that that space is taken care of both physically and emotionally or spiritually, because we create from we create from multiple dimensions, from
Yeah.
multiple different realms. So yeah, tackling the health and wellness of your womb space and vaginal space is important to every part of your life, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how do we as women become more in tune with that sacred space and to better take care of it?
So the best advice I can give for starts is to open up the space for there to be honest dialogue between you and your womb space. And when I say that, what I mean is actually taking the time to show concern about the different feelings or different ways of speech that the womb and vagina uses. So the womb and vagina doesn't actually have lips, vocal cords to speak to us and a tongue to create speech,
Mm-hmm.
but everything talks in its own way. So
Right.
when you're experiencing heavy cramps or heavy bleeding, if you're experiencing a STI, this is your body's way of saying to you, hey, there's something wrong. There's something that
Right.
isn't happening the
Yeah.
right way. There's something I'm missing, or there's something I'm getting too much of, and I can't handle this by myself. So, first off, opening that dialogue, being able to recognize and confirm with yourself that something is going on rather than allowing it to continue to go on and just finding ways of coping with it rather than addressing the issue. Another thing would be is to have an open dialogue with your womb space, even if you aren't experiencing any type of negative speech, quote unquote, from your womb space. Because honestly, some women are just more numb to that space. Some women do not feel or experience symptoms the way other women will, meaning that there's probably a small disconnect from you and your womb space, and or you just don't understand the language that your womb is using. So that would be the first thing I would say for a woman to do in order to start her healing process and really take care of her womb, because there can be no action without communication first. We have to identify what's going on or that there's even something going on, as well as building a connection with the womb space and the vaginal space, paying more attention to it, actually
Mm-hmm.
speaking out loud to that
Mm-hmm.
space, keeping track, literally, like maybe even a womb journal,
Yeah.
keeping track of the things and the things that you do, the accomplishments that you make, both physically and emotionally, utilizing that womb space. Really, I would basically, it's surrendering to the journey of womb
Mm-hmm.
healing is what I would say would need to be done in order to properly take care of your womb, because your womb's going to speak to you and say, hey, I need this and
Right.
that and this, and it's going to point you in the right direction and put you in touch with the right people, honestly, because if there's a compass within all of us that will direct us to the right space if we allow ourselves to listen and grow strong within the voice of our womb, the connection with the voice of our womb.
Right. And then to add to that, I would like to say for so many years, women have been told that, that's ugly or, we don't even know what that is. We think we just use it to pee and
Mm-hmm.
um, birth the baby or, have
Mm-hmm.
sex. But really, it does so much more,
So much. Oh wow,
so
so
much
much.
more. And it's actually it's one of the most beautiful parts of our body.
Yes, it
It's
is.
so pretty. And if you just, tap into more of that self-love,
Yes.
you're going to start to love every inch of your body, you know, even your imperfect parts. I mean, so many of
Yeah.
us, we think we're not the perfect size, and it's like, how do we look at our body? How do we look at our breasts? How do we
Mm-hmm.
look at our other private parts? How do we look at, whatever you want to call that, your vagina, your vajayjay, your pee, your pussy, your, your whatever you want to
Right.
call
All
that,
the names. Kitty
you
cat,
know,
cookie monster, however you want to
you
address
know
her.
what I mean? Kitty cat. That
Yes.
was the first, my mother told me that when I was a little girl. That's your kitty cat.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
she taught us how to wash it, right? And so it's
Right.
like, go back to that innocence. you know that's an innocent part of your body. Is not something that we have to be ashamed of. you know
Most
and
definitely.
so once we start to embrace that, we'll start to naturally embrace all of it. Everything
Yes,
that goes
actually.
with that. It's just, it
Every
does
single
so
part of
much.
it.
Even looking at it in the mirror, getting a mirror and putting it down there and just looking at it. It's very interesting how it's made, right?
It's funny you say that because I'd actually like to encourage each and every client that comes to me
Uh-huh.
to look at their vagina every day, actually. Stare at
Look
your
at it.
vagina for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Look at her. Really look at her. Look at your
Right.
labia. Look inside of the labia. Look at the way that
Hmm.
your specific vagina is made because trust me, they're not all made the same.
They're
But just
not.
because they're not all made the same doesn't mean that they aren't all perfect. They all have their own perfection. It, everything is perfectly made to fit the person that it is attached to. So being able to fall
Yes.
in love with that space also helps you to be able to fall deeper in love with yourself, because when you reject love from yourself or reject yeah if you, when you reject love from yourself in any area, you
Hmm.
start to spread toxins within the body. That's
Hmm.
negative self-talk that starts to become self-hate. So really realizing and appreciating the beauty that is you, no matter how different you look or how common you look, is vital to the womb healing process, because being able to be vulnerable and open with your womb is very important.
It is. And the more we embrace that, the more that we'll invite that into our lives when we're ready to invite that mate into our lives. And so
Mm-hmm.
if we're feeling rejected in a relationship or current relationship, or feeling rejected thinking we can't attract the right mate, maybe you need to take a step back and
Mm-hmm.
implement that self-love first. Go
Mm-hmm.
deep in love with yourself first so that you can attract that back to you, because we only attract what we're putting out there, right? How we
That is
feel about
absolutely true.
ourselves is what we're projecting out, and so other people are gonna reflect that back to us. So we
This
don't,
is true.
you know what I mean? So we don't feel accepted and we don't feel sexy, if so how can we expect to attract a mate that feels that way about us,
Right,
right?
that's entirely true. Something that I want to add on to what you just said, it was kind of like a ding, ding, ding in my head when you said it, but um, you said something along the lines of having a mate that I believe just doesn't treat you the way that
Right.
you feel that you need to be treated, and taking a step back so that you can add on to your self love. I feel the first step of, wait, let me gather my words, because it was really beautiful in my head when you said that. It just opened up a whole new avenue of something that I wanted to speak about. Relationships are an opportunity to learn. And
Mhm.
so there we go. That's the point I was going to come to. Relationships are an opportunity to learn. Relationships hold up mirrors in our lives. So it's
Yes.
important for us to realize when we are in a relationship in which we are not being treated the way that we deserve to be treated, we have to realize, why is that our womb choice right now?
Mhm.
Why did my womb why did my womb want me to go this route and see this mirror, see this reflection of myself? What is it trying to show me? Because most times when you find yourself attracted to someone, it's just because there is a learning opportunity there.
Mhm.
Sometimes we mix that attraction with, oh, I got to jump this person's bones. I really got to be with this person. Something
Mhm.
about this person really makes me want to be meshed with them. And
Mhm.
that's okay, because you're still going to learn. You're still going to realize the things within them, the way that they treat you, how that reflects some part of you. You'll still see it. A lot of times we don't identify with that being what it is. We just feel that it's negativity coming from our partner, not really realizing it's a
Mhm.
part of ourselves that we've manifested in our lives. But it's
Mhm.
important for us to look at, why did my womb choose this? Why is this person my womb choice? After you've
Mhm.
identified why this person is your womb choice, I feel during this time is a perfect time to start to prepare yourself for the release of this person if there can't be any work within the relationship to fix it. But prepare yourself of the release of this person so that when you let this person go, you can be pouring that self-love in those areas in which that person reflected where you did not have it.
That makes so much sense. Wow. Thanks for sharing that.
You're
Didn't
absolutely
I didn't
welcome.
think
Thank
about
you.
that. Wow. And I wanted to add more to the beauty of the sacred space, the womb, the pussy, the
The
vagina,
vulva,
the
kitty,
vulva, the kitty, whatever you refer to that as. It's so
right?
beautiful. And
It's so beautiful.
there are so many flowers in nature that look like our vajayjay, as
Flowers
Oprah
and
said.
fruits.
Fruit, flowers, and it's amazing because I just discovered this. You're never too young, you're never too old, as long as you're over 18.
Right?
But you're never too old to learn about it because I'm in my 40s and I just discovered like a year or two ago that there are flowers and fruit that look like our vajayjays.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think
I'm just
actually a
blown
person
away.
can learn that before they're 18. It's
Oh,
important
they can?
to
Oh, I'm
bring the
sorry.
maturity. No, it's
Okay.
okay. It's okay. It's well, it's important that you said that. No reason to be sorry because if you didn't say that, I couldn't shed light on this.
Right. I
But
didn't
it's
think about
important.
that though. So if women or men learn, listen, I don't know, women, I'm just gonna say women. So if
Hmm.
you have young girls that you mentor or you have your daughters or your loved ones and you want to teach
Hmm.
them about their vajayjays, that is a good way. That's really an
Yeah.
actually a light and beautiful way
Right.
to
To show
introduce
them
that.
the beauty that is them is also out in nature, how we're all designed the same but different in our own way, and how we can find beauty within ourselves, just like we can find beauty in those things that are exterior to us. Also, it helps to bring about maturity to the women, and self acceptance to the young girls before they even grow up and start to disassociate with the beauty that already lies within them, as well as showing this to young boys or getting the conversation started for young boys so that they can be mature and
Yeah,
not early predators because of the urges that they don't really understand all the way and the guidance that they do not get.
right, right, right. And the programming that's there.
Exactly,
Just,
yes.
our young people, period, they just need the right guidance
Exactly.
from caring people with good intentions, that
Hmm.
actually is out for their best interests. So they can
Right.
properly share with them and guide them what their genitals are for, what their body
Right.
parts are for, what their
In
private
all
areas
ways.
for, you know?
Right. In all ways. Also, being able to bring that information to younger children will help them to be able to have more, I wouldn't say control, but a deeper connection to their womb space, their womb voice, their intention. This helps them
Mhm.
to grow closer to it sooner, so that by the time they are experiencing, or by the time they're experiencing adulthood, they are already very much so connected to their
Prepared.
womb space and how to go about life and listen to their intuition and really move from their um, position of power, their place of power. The womb is such a powerhouse. It's your core. This is where
Mhm.
everything comes from.
Mhm.
A strong womb, a strong, healthy, connected womb, and everything that you do will have power behind it. So bringing this type of information to children, I believe is something that can change the world.
I think it can too. It absolutely can. There's no question about it.
Right.
That's, and they need to incorporate this type of information into the sex education.
They should, but sex education is that I feel with the sex education that they offer now, this
Hmm.
would be something that is very advanced because it goes pretty deep. And the fact that they aren't addressing the things that should be addressed already, let alone the things that are more complex, I feel it'd be a little hard to switch over, but implementing it little by little and eventually crossing over into the more deeper aspects, or maybe even having more than one type of class, a different level you can go
Absolutely.
to in order to learn more, especially for women or our young girls. It should be mandatory for them, especially a womb health class, because
Absolutely.
oh Lord, womb health is so vast. The
It is.
topic of womb wellness is so vast. It's so vast. It's from birthing to treating STIs and STDs
Hmm.
to strengthening that specific area to releasing emotional and spiritual attachments. It's just so deep, it's so
It
vast.
is. It is. Wow. It's something that's needed though. Like you
Right.
said, little by little, as we
Yeah.
awaken, awaken
Hmm.
as a human race, I think that these type of things will be implemented into the schools at some point.
Yes, yes, that would make a lot of sense
Just
actually,
like
because we're all
meditation.
kind of.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. What you're saying makes sense. Meditation. They're also implementing yoga in the
Yeah,
schools now,
yeah,
which is amazing.
yeah, it is.
Instead of detention and things of that sort, I said, "Oh well, look at that! Look at the consciousness rising of
Yeah,
humankind." Because yoga in school, there used to be disciplinary actions like being hit with a ruler or a paddle, but
right,
they've drawn
right.
back from that and said, okay, maybe we'll just send them to detention. And then they drew back from that and said, well, let's actually do something to help them reverse this, understand this, and then reverse it. So you're right, it actually makes sense. We'll advance eventually to be able to have this in schools as well.
We will because we're going into a new paradigm. Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. So, if someone wanted to get started, wanted some guidance about how to better tune into their sacred room and take care of it, how would they reach out to you, and what type of services do you offer?
So I offer something to strengthen the vaginal walls, also bring more awareness to the vaginal space, and strengthen the connection between you and your vaginal space and your womb space. These are called Yoni eggs. Yoni eggs are semi-precious stones in the shape of an egg. They're basically weighted. They're not weighted crystals because some crystals that are weighted have things inside of it to make it weighted, but these are just raw crystals, raw. Well, not raw in the form of like not tumbled and polished, because we wouldn't want to put anything raw inside of our vaginas, right?
Right,
It's kind
right,
of scratchy and
right. It's
yeah,
rough.
we don't. It's rough. There we go. It's very rough. But yoni eggs are tumbled and polished stones, and they are basically vaginal weights to help strengthen the vaginal walls. Also, help women to become more in tune with their orgasmic nature and really learn how to utilize their vaginal walls, because most women don't realize that we can even suck things
Into
inside
us.
of us,
Uh huh.
inside of our
Yeah.
vaginas. So being able to connect with those muscles and utilize those muscles the way that you want to is something that you would be able to receive that benefit from utilizing yoni eggs. I provide yoni eggs. I have multiple stones available. I do not provide toxic yoni eggs. Toxic yoni eggs are eggs that have things like aluminum, sulfur, or dissolve, or just it kind of like puts toxins into the body that can actually cause negative effects. So I went to school in order to figure out what type of things, what type of
Mhm.
eggs are actually appropriate to be utilized within the vaginal space. Also, this information can be found online. So if any shoppers want to know or want to check the cross reference to make sure what I am offering are stones that can be consumed or ingested inside of the vagina and used in a healthy way, definitely I would say do that. You want to make sure that you are being careful about what you're putting inside of your vagina. So I offer yoni eggs. I also offer Yoni Pearls, which are a herbal suppository in which I have applicators to insert those over suppositories inside of the vaginal space more easily. Some people would prefer to use their hands. Some people like to use the things that we use with our tampons. That's exactly what they are.
Mhm.
These Yoni Pearls help to it helps to assist the womb in its natural detoxing process. It
Mhm.
softens the cervix and the uterine lining so that things like old blood, dead cells, dead skin cells, scar tissue, mucus. Sometimes there's a buildup or masses that doctors or OBGYNs find in some women's womb spaces that are made up of things like hair, teeth, nails, tissue. So it really helps to
What the heck is
dissolve.
that?
They're called masses. I actually don't.
That's
It's a
insane.
it is, yeah, yeah, yeah. That can be found in the womb space. It can also be found in other parts of the body as well, but specifically for things that are found in the womb space: fibroids, cysts, people who experience PCOS, STDs, STIs, being able to alleviate their symptoms from the STDs, and eventually treat and cure the STIs, along with a regimen that I would give giving that they book a consultation with me. Yoni
Mhm.
Detox Pearls is another a product that I have to offer. I will be having Yoni Steams soon and Yoni Pleasure Wands, which are much like the Yoni Eggs, but they are used specifically for pleasure and connection within the womb space and the healing properties of the specific crystal. It's nothing wrong with enjoying self pleasure and having a
Right.
little healing that we want to
I agree with
incorporate.
that.
Now, a few services that I offer are consultations just by themselves. This helps me to get a better understanding of what each specific person, each specific woman is going through. And based on the things that they do in their lives, specific um, allergies that they may have, desires that they have for their womb space, I can help them with the products that I have and the information that I have, and even allow them to book follow-up sessions so that I can walk with them along their womb healing journey. I also have consultations with healing kits, which is the consultation with Yoni Pearls. It's like a bundle deal so that you can get that consultation and then the Yoni Pearls shipped off to you and your regimen in your email. When I say regimen, I'm speaking about emotional and mental practices to help center and connect yourself to your womb space, as well as proper foods that will help to assist your womb in the detoxing process while you are utilizing your Yoni Pearls. And then I also offer womb centered card readings, whether it is oracle cards or tarot cards would be chosen by the readee. And all of that can be found at www.iyasyonitemple.com. If they would like to find me, if any of you would like to find me on Instagram, it would be Iyas, IYAS dot Yoni dot temple on Instagram. And then it would be the same for Facebook, just without the dots. That's where you can find me. And these are the things that I offer.
Beautiful. Love it. I love it.
Thank you.
So needed on the planet right now. Absolutely. Um, I,
Thank you.
I want to add too, if you guys, this is our disclaimer, but both Awakening with Katina Love as well as Iya's, we are not responsible if you, this is at your own risk. If you want to do this, what we talked about today is for educational purposes only. If you
Right,
want to do it on your own, it's at your own risk, and we are not held liable or responsible for your choices. But
right.
so we do recommend if you want to work with Iya that you do that. She is certified and she can
Yes.
guide you on your path to take care of your sacred.
Yes.
Anything else you want to add before we conclude?
Well, one last thing on my website, I also have a chat forum that is number one, there's a section where people can leave reviews of my services or products that they receive from me. And then there's another section where women can speak about their womb healing experiences, their experiences about learning how to hear and listen to their womb voice. Right now, I have my first insert about how or when I first heard my womb voice and the things it helped me to get through, how young I was when I first heard it. And I'll continue to add more as I go along. So if anyone would like to go there and just have a space where you can come and talk about your specific womb healing, you can do it anonymously. You don't have to have any pictures of yourself up, or you can liberate yourself and put your picture up and say, this is me, this is my womb healing journey, and I'm owning it. This is what I've been through. And here is my story for any of you who can identify with it and receive help. So, yeah, that would be the last thing I would have to add. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for your welcome. Thank you for being a guest. What you shared today was very enlightening. Um,
Thank you.
thank you because people really need to hear it. And I even learned some things just from this conversation as well.
That's amazing.
Yes, absolutely. We're always learning, right? Every day
Always,
is
all
something new.
day, every single day.
Yes, so I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for being a guest on Awakening with Katina Love.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Awakening with Katina Love. If this has been helpful to you, we recommend that you go ahead and subscribe to our channel and click on the bell if you'd like to be notified of everything that we upload each and every week. Namaste.